to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza.
Don't say I didn't warn y'all. This is a warning to everyone that just clicked on this video. You are not going to be the same after you watch these TikToks. And I'm not saying that for no reason. I spent the last 24 hours on the darkest part of TikToks to find videos the mainstream will never show you. So with that being said, I don't know if a lot of you are going to be able to make it to the end of this video, but if you do, let me know in the comments. And I've been seeing a lot of you run into the comments talking about showing these videos are not even scary, bro. Just wait till the end of this video. I promise you, you are going to regret your decision. What's even scarier than the TikToks about to watch today is the fact that 60% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe for more scary videos. Thank you.
I'm on Epstein Island right now.
Clout chasing gone wrong.
You're watching this? Made it out alive, and the YouTube video's out right now.
Man, you playing,
Not,
bro.
then they probably got my ass. I'm really up here, huh?
I'm about to react to this shit on
Security's
YouTube,
coming for me, but they are not catching me. I'm watching them. They're coming up right now, actually. But holy shit, we did it. The world is yours. Now the security card's coming.
Yeah, the world is yours. Now you're on a federal watch list. Now you're on a watch list, bro. I know they got me on a watch list, content creator or something, but I'm not, bro. I know I'm being watched. When a lot of y'all think like content creators, like we're separated from what's going on, bro. Like we can't get, like they don't want to, like they won't get rid of us too. Like I'm not, look, this is all for entertainment purposes only. Obviously, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But the kid went to Epstein Island playing around, right? Do you actually know what's going on? Like, did you read them files, bro? That shit's out of your budget, bro. Not to be pushing up playing around. You feel me? I might make my videos walking in front of the Freemason building, but I'm in a public property. Once you start messing with like private property, and now it's like when you get home, I guarantee you a bunch of weird shit finna happen to you. If not this month, next month. Not next month, the next month. Not tickets starting to come up. Now you getting pulled up weird little shit. Like you just set yourself up to get like tapped, bro.
This is probably one of the worst decisions you could ever make in your life. The whole world is just a script, bro. Like, you know, information is going to come out as they want it to come out. You going to the island is not going to change anything. It's just going to make your own life worse. You really just invited a whole bunch of problems into your life for absolutely no reason.
A Maryland man is charged after telling his friend he had a woman for him, but it was really him dressed as a woman. And let me tell you, this is wait. Okay, here's the thing, right? There's this ongoing debate that I'm here for because for whatever reason, there's a particular group of men who feel like they gotta argue women down, talking about, so y'all want some simps, that's all. You not ready for no man baddie. And my thing is like, some of y'all, not all of y'all, but some of y'all just want your homeboy. You just want your, and this man, he leaned into his truth. But the thing is, don't tell him you got a woman for him. Lean into your truth. If that's what you going after, sir, just show up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to leave these women alone. If you don't like women, if you hate women, okay. Listen, you ain't gotta hate me if you like your homeboy. You know what I'm saying? That was the chair. You don't have to hate me if you like your homeboy. Just shoot your shot. And if you miss, then hey, there are plenty other shots to take elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? But I wish I would have been there to see what the surprise show that this man was like, come over. Where we going? Around. It's a surprise. Do you like surprises? He didn't, apparently, because he is now charged. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. If one of my homies tried this, you're gonna catch the eternal fade because you're bugging. And some people that make these videos need to literally just stop talking, bro, because I don't know what she was rambling about at the end, talking about, oh, like, why do y'all hate us women? Like, bro, what are you even talking about? It has nothing to do with the video.
Bro, so it's being exposed, allegedly, that this guy, Alexis Stone, was like playing Jim Carrey in this whole Paris thing, and he's a makeup artist. We got the facts right here. This is insane. So this is his Instagram right here, and people are going crazy off this video where basically he posted a picture of the mask he was wearing as Jim Carrey, and also like a whole slideshow here. Now the internet is chewing this up. Everybody that either was schizo or is like actually schizo is completely riding with this, and they believe this is not Jim Carrey. This guy, Alexis Stone, was playing Jim Carrey this entire time at this Paris award show. Bro, the craziest part is if you just look at these pictures of Jim Carrey, like from that night, it looks just like, I'm trying to get on the bandwagon of this whole like schizo thing, like Jim Carrey's a clone, but like, bro, it's literally Jim Carrey. I don't know, bro, to sit here and think that a man is wearing a mask and everyone's trying to tie in the fact that I guess in this one video he said he was like allegedly, for anyone that thinks Jim Carrey's a clone, bro, just
Did McDonald's CEO really just play in our face like that?
All right, the moment of truth. That is so good. That's a big bite for a big arch. It's distinctively McDonald's. Only McDonald's could do this type of burger, but it also is unlike anything else on our menu. It's a delicious product. You know, you've got sort of the cheeses and the gooiness, but those crispy onions as well gives a nice texture. And of course, we've got the pickles. So
he couldn't even convince himself that he liked that burger. He couldn't even convince himself, let alone convince everybody else. This is what he looked like trying to take a bite out of that burger. He looked like he didn't want that shit. Like that was just the most disgusting thing he ever tried in his life. Everybody know the best thing on McDonald's menu is a double quarter pounder with cheese. That's it. If you're not getting a double quarter pounder with cheese, you might as well drive off. That was straight forced advertising. That was forced advertising, bro. If you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you, man. For real.
Yo, when the CEO got to make a video talking about, bro, these burgers are so good, you know they're in shambles, bro. It's over.
So if I ever shave my face again, you'll know.
Lifting.
It's not our world.
None of this is real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there, receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead.
Jeffrey Epstein has information and leaked emails of people going out and doing hunting for pleasure. So they would take a whole bunch of throw them into like a forest on a deserted area in clothes where they can't escape, and they would them like game.
Bro, they're doing this for fun.
They're doing this for pleasure, bro. There's no exact proof yet where these locations were.
Bro, is it fair to say, like, other than the island, this could be just one big cult?
They have all the money in the world. They have nothing else to do. They have to excite their brains somehow.
All right, we're just made aware of a danger, and it's for anybody that has an iPhone, so please listen up. So the danger that I was made aware of for anybody that has an iPhone, basically the iPhone 17, iOS 17, all the way up to current. Anyway, if you have any type of iPhone that is up to the current date of 2025, you need to go into the settings and change the AirPlay setting to never or ask. Me personally, I would change it to never, because as this is a convenience to be able to transfer information from one cell phone to the other, it's too easy right now. There are hackers out there that have a setting on their phone, and they literally have it where they can take their phone, put it on top of yours or right by it real quickly, and get all your information from your phone in a matter of seconds. And if you think that's not possible, you might want to think again. Josh Rogan had a couple people on his show, and it's very possible. Anyway, I'm displaying it here. You'll go into your AirPlay settings, and you see here it has never, ask, automatic. So you're gonna go and, anyway, you can see up there. I would recommend clicking on never, but again, that's just me personally. So I hope this information helped out, especially all of you out there that have iPhones, and so that you can keep your information as safe as possible. Y'all take care, and as always, be safe out there.
You know, we talk about distraction all the time, but with everything going on in the news right now and all around the world, I really don't know what topic they're distracting us from. Everything on the news right now is missiles and retaliation. While no one's talking about those files and all that horrible information that got released where people were resigning all over, there are resignations happening all across governments and businesses connected to that whole mess, but good luck finding that between war graphics. You know, because at this point in time, accountability doesn't trend as well as explosions. And while everyone is staring at maps of the Middle East on the news, the Pentagon has quietly finalized contracts with AI companies. One company said, we're not comfortable building autonomous kill bots, and suddenly they're out. The next company in line says, sure, that's fine, we can go full RoboCop. And I'm dead serious. Search it out. They're about to go full RoboCop on us. One AI company says it doesn't want to militarize its model, so they just move on and find a company that's okay with it. And the craziest part, that wasn't hidden. It was announced in press releases, just no one paid attention to it because of everything else going on right now. But it's definitely looked like any direction you want to turn, it's about to get bad. I'm not saying there's a mastermind in a dark room pressing buttons, but I'm also saying there's probably a mastermind in a dark room pressing buttons.
This has to be one of the craziest ChatGPT use cases that I've ever seen. So this person took a photo of the floor and then said, I dropped my ring, can you help me find it? ChatGPT then generated an image and drew a circle around exactly where the ring was, and you can see it right there. If you want to see more crazy ChatGPT use cases like this, make sure to follow me.
Just make sure that we don't do something very foolish. I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon.
And then watch when they go behind the container. So I can actually see.
Actor Daniel Stern, who played Marv in the Home Alone series, was recently caught in a sting by the police when he allegedly attempted to hire a in a hotel in California. Daniel Stern is obviously most famous for playing the character of Marv on Home Alone, and in that franchise he plays what amounts to be basically a career criminal. But on December 10th of last year during the holiday season, the 68-year-old Daniel Stern was caught in a police sting operation in Ventura County, California. Now, the police haven't really released any details on what this all means, but what I'm assuming is that they were running a sting operation undercover, basically posing as online, inviting potential Johns, usually men, to the hotel so that these men could pay for. And then when the men were showing up to meet for this illicit activity, they were issued citations. Now, Daniel, when he showed up to meet this, that's according to the police, he was not arrested, he was not booked, a mugshot was not taken. From what I could find online, all he was issued was a citation, and then I believe they just let him go. But this is a shocking development, to say the least. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on this situation. Be sure to hit the follow button so you stay informed.
None of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'ma need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Okay. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about. Yeah. Did Jay reach out yet? Nah, Bob. He ghosting.
She was invited to a party that was in the tunnels underneath the Getty Museum.
Wow, how do you even get invited
now,
to that?
The Getty Museum is really interesting because it has a lot of art, very similar though at what Jeffrey Epstein had in his house.
Yeah.
Like this type of art, you know what I'm saying? This is very much a theory, but the construction workers, when they were building and they were working on it, there was leaks and claims that they've dug deeper and they built things underneath the Getty Museum.
This guy recently was building arcs like from the Bible because he said God wanted him to before the world floods on Christmas. So recently, and that's what I was just gonna say, recently we passed Christmas and all of us are dry.
Yeah.
So then I guess there was a lot of people that actually traveled from other countries and went to Ghana to get on the boat.
Really?
Yes, Mike.
Oh, wow.
So now these people are just there in Ghana.
Yeah, with no flood happening.
With no flood happening, and they went there, and now it's almost like they just wasted all their time.
Yeah.
What blew a lot of people's minds is this guy has been doing the craziest things after all this got exposed. They recently caught this dude driving in a Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, yeah.
And
there you go. Now it's all coming into fruition, huh?
I'm telling you, and he's still wearing the little like Noah rags and all that in the car.
That's good.
It's crazy. And then also went and did like this huge concert. Green screen thing behind him with like the ocean basically like the flood.
Yeah, the flood,
The flood behind him, and he's doing this whole thing, you know what I mean? And these people are eating it up.
You guys thought he was like actually
a real
modern
Messiah
day Noah
or something, or modern day Noah, literally.
And it's like, bro, I mean, I could have told y'all he was lying.
A chilling find after people are finding microchips hiding inside their Labubu dolls.
These are Labubu dolls, the latest craze trending all over social media. And when they are back in stock, they typically sell out in minutes. These highly desirable collectibles come available in blind boxes, which means you won't know what you're getting until you open the box, and some collectors are finding more than they bargained for.
My dog chewed up my Labubu, and that's when I saw it. That's when I saw the microchip.
Collectors claim to have found microchips inside the plush toys, capable of recording audio and transmitting data.
I'm returning my Labubus because I paid way too much money to be getting spied on, and I feel betrayed.
Authorities suspect these devices, hidden in the doll's stuffing, may be part of something sinister.
We are investigating the matter, and this appears to be an isolated incident unrelated to the company.
As the toy's global supply chain faces scrutiny. From fashion fad to sneaky spies, Labubu dolls continue to sell out everywhere. Will you be getting one?
Morbid Facts, Part 891. Here's a police sketch that was released during the investigation into the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, a case that remains unsolved nearly 2 decades later. In 2007, Madeleine vanished from a holiday apartment in Praia da Luz, Portugal, while her parents were dining nearby. She'd been left asleep with her younger siblings, and when her mother went to check on the children later that night, Madeleine's bed was empty and the bedroom window was open. As the investigation dragged on, police issued multiple suspect sketches based on eyewitness accounts, including one female person of interest that later drew widespread attention due to its striking resemblance to Ghislaine Maxwell, the British former socialite who was convicted in 2021 of for Jeffrey Epstein. Despite one of the largest missing child investigations in European history, no definitive trace of Madeleine has ever been found, as her fate remains unknown. Dan Burroughs was a high-ranking white supremacist in the 1960s, serving as the third highest member of the American Party and a Grand Dragon of the New York. But in 1965, the New York Times revealed that Burroughs was actually Jewish, raised in a Jewish family, attended Hebrew school, and even had a bar mitzvah. Hours after the article was published, Burroughs took life, and the organizations he led immediately disavowed him as the revelation became public.
She's excited because for the first time in her life, she says she's in a human body. Those are her exact words. And honestly, how are we supposed to understand that? Just look at this girl. Don't you feel like she's not quite like everyone else? There's something unusual about her. Her eyes look so strange, but at the same time, she seems genuinely happy. It reminds me of the kind of eyes we see all over TikTok where people call that expression the demon look. And the same thing seems to be happening here. But why would she say it's her first time being in a human body? Doesn't that sound at least a little weird? The video almost feels like proof that sometimes people give in to something we can't explain. Something strange like an entity that's not from our world. Or maybe it just looks that way. So what do you think is really going on here? Have you ever seen anything like this before? Or is it all fake? Just a way to grab attention and go viral. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm really curious what you think.
Never ask your cat if they remember being human. If you have a cat right now, I suggest kicking them out of the room while you listen to this. Cats already move like they know more than they should understand. Staring at empty corners, standing awkwardly in the doorway, sitting very humanly. Have you seen these creepy images people upload of their cats sitting very weirdly and giving a human stare? It's just weird. They watch things we obviously can't see and guard the doorway like if something is coming. But one night, someone jokingly looked at their cat and asked them if they were human. The cat didn't blink, it didn't do anything, it simply walked into a mirror and disappeared. Not the window, not the door, but you heard correctly, it walked right into the mirror. And all you could see from the other side was the cat, staring right at you. Ever since that day, the cat started acting very strange. It would sit like a human, and every day at 3:17 a.m. it would sit on the owner's belly and stare at them. Imagine waking up to your cat and seeing its glowing eyes. Most people believe that cats don't use their 9 lives, but they collect them. So maybe don't ask questions you're not ready to hear.
You know, I was gonna ask my cat this question after seeing this video, but I would rather not see this happen, so you know, I'm just gonna take their word for it. So you know, definitely don't ask your cat this.
Jim Carrey was just confronted about being a clone, and you truly won't believe how he responded. So as all of you know, there's a big conspiracy that Jim Carrey got cloned and he is no longer the real Jim Carrey. So just a little bit ago when he was exiting a hotel, a bunch of people were surrounding him and he started to sign some autographs when someone just straight up asked him, "Are you the real Jim Carrey or were you cloned?" Jim Carrey almost immediately started to smile and shake his head, and then he just said the word "what?" So it just really seems like Jim Carrey had no idea what that person was talking about at all. It was just very confused as to why he asked him that question in the first place. So it is very likely that Jim Carrey genuinely has no idea what is going on right now, that so many people think that he has actually been cloned and that he is no longer the real Jim Carrey, because he was just so confused when that person asked him that question. But that is just really how he responded. He just smiled, shook his head, and then said what? So he's very confused about that. He doesn't probably know what's going on, which is pretty interesting. And I'm just definitely really curious to know your thoughts about all of this.
What's the most blood-curdling fact you know? In the 1960s, NASA funded an experiment to teach dolphins English. They were like giving the dolphins to maybe help them communicate with humans better, and it seemed to be working pretty well. Like, dolphins were kind of learning how to communicate with humans. The reason the experiment ended was because one of the scientists working with the dolphins was having sex with a dolphin named Peter, so they had to end the experiment, and then Peter.
In 2006, Ray Rivera, an aspiring filmmaker, suddenly left his house after receiving a phone call. He told his wife, "Oh," and walked out the door. He never came back. And 8 days later, Ray's found inside a closed conference room of the Belvedere Hotel in Baltimore. But here's the problem. There was a hole in the roof, and it was far from any ledge he could have come. There was no witnesses, no security footage, no clear path. His phone and glasses were found near the hole, undamaged. And then investigators discovered something even stranger. A long cryptic note taped behind Ray's computer, filled with movie references, secret societies, and coded language. Police called it a unaliving, a self-deletion, if you will. His family didn't buy it because the math wasn't mathin'. The physics didn't work, and the note felt like something meant to be decoded, not read. So the question still hangs there. What happened to Ray Rivera, and why doesn't the story add up? Stay weird.
The DOJ has just released 10 hours of surveillance footage of Ghislaine Maxwell in prison. And Houston, we got a problem. For one, the timestamp in this video is January 2020. And that's odd because that's more than 2 years before Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to prison. Not only that, but this doesn't look like the Ghislaine Maxwell that we know. Which is suspicious when you take into account the 4chan message that was released in the most recent Epstein drop that had a prison guard saying, "You guys, I'm shaking right now, but I think they switched him out," referring to Jeffrey Epstein. When you look at the new photo that also was released in the Epstein drop of his body being rolled out of jail, and you compare the profile to when Epstein was alive, there are quite a few differences. No shape, ears, distance between eyebrows and eyes. But would they switch out Ghislaine, and why? Well, it turns out that on Monday she's supposed to be testifying in front of Congress. And she's one of the last living people that can name names under oath. So is it possible that they want us to get used to seeing this Ghislaine?
This is the most evil man on the entire earth. This guy is Mark Detroit, and what he did is one of the craziest things you will ever hear. Mark and his wife Michelle lived in Belgium and were both involved in the acts committed. Mark would buy multiple properties. He owned lots of properties in Belgium, and he would use each one as a dungeon. He would go out to the streets, find willing people, bring them back, here and do things that I can't even speak about on here. Underneath the homes he built soundproof chambers so no one could hear the noises of what was going on, and went on to take many, putting them under the ground in these chambers and doing the completely unthinkable. He eventually did get caught for the of over 5 people, but then was released after just 2 years and went straight back to doing the exact same thing again. When he got out though, it got worse because this time he decided he wasn't going to keep anybody alive. He would do the act and then would them. His own mother even called the cops on him saying what he was doing, but they did not believe him and didn't do anything. They even went round to the house but couldn't hear anything because there's a soundproof chamber. Not long later, Michelle, his wife, was actually arrested and did confess to the police, leading them back to the house where they found what was going on, where all of these photos were then captured and he was subsequently arrested.
Man was shopping in a toy section of Walmart, right? And he pointed out some labels, not liable for data collection, on kids' toys. And it's not just the girl toys, right? He finna go to the dinosaur monster, right? Not liable for data collection. What? We ain't never seen nothing like that growing up when we went to Target and Toys R Us. I don't even think I ever got toys from Walmart growing up. I was a Toys R Us. I was trying to go to. I had ChatGPT. I'm like, what does that even mean? If a label or a toy says something like not liable for data collection or similarly wording, it generally means the company isn't taking responsibility for how data might be collected when someone uses their product. How are you collecting data from a stagnant machine toy? They aren't promising to protect or manage your data. Information. it doesn't mean we absolutely won't collect data. It means they're not legally responsible for it. So basically, like, hey, it's on you. After you buy it, it's on you. And you still trust these brands, bro. And you got to think about this. What about, bro? They still doing business with them though. So how? This just makes why are these labels just now being introduced? Technology's been around for years. How would they take data from a toy?
This is one of the rarest moments ever caught on camera. The reaction of an isolated tribe that has spent decades avoiding any contact with the outside world. In front of the man is a mannequin, set up by American researchers to see how they would respond to a figure resembling a modern human. The tribe is called the Manti. Very little is known about them. They live deep in the forests and remote river valleys, almost completely cut off from the outside world. Getting this close to them had never been possible before, which is why this footage is considered so extraordinary. The goal was simple, to subtly show them something that looks like a human and capture their reaction. Until this moment, nobody knew how they would respond to outsiders. What happened next stunned even the scientists from Louisiana who have dedicated their careers to studying isolated tribes. And here's a fascinating detail. Those sounds you just heard, they weren't from an animal. They were made by a member of the tribe. According to researchers, this might actually be how they communicate with each other. Since they've never learned any outside language, their culture has remained completely untouched.
At this point, just leave them alone. You know, they got their own thing going on. We got our own thing going on. You're literally just asking to get put into a blender, bro. Like,
tell me this doesn't give you chills. There's a video going around of former Brazilian President Michel Temer giving a speech when suddenly you hear his voice change. But there's another version of this video you may not have seen. So the version you've probably seen is this one.
Ao mesmo tempo, nós não vamos parar por aí. Já estão encomendados.
In this version, his voice sounds very distorted and almost inhuman. This, of course, adds to the conspiracy theory that the people in power may not be who they appear to be. But I found the original version of that video. And as you can clearly hear, he is just dealing with a frog in his throat or a cough. But I'm sure there are still going to be conspiracy theorists who still will not buy this explanation. Is this version the original?
Já estão.
Or is this one? And that's the gloriousness of the internet. I'll leave it up to you to decide.
The Raza's favorite grandma is now being accused of the worst. We're talking about Carmen Salinas. They're saying that back in the days, she was sacrificing these, but the real ones, of course. A dude went on a podcast and said all of this. Chat, we have all of the details to tell you in this video.
Todas esas personas yo las conozco, sé cómo viven. Bueno, la Carmelita Salinas decía que era católica, ¿no? Y te compraba los si ibas a esos.
This is some very wild words for our favorite grandma, and now her own daughter is coming out in her defense saying, bro, all those accusations are not even true at all. Stop defaming my mama's name. Some fans believe that the accusations are really true. They're saying, bro, just look at her eyes. Now, if you guys didn't know, Carmen Salinas actually passed away back in 2021, like 4 or 5 years ago. I always knew that this is Raza's favorite grandma, but for me, my boy, she actually does look like one of my grandmas. But if all the accusations are really true, she no longer looks like one of my grandmas, my boy. At the end of the day, Shawty was part of Hollywood. And in Mexico, you already know that they do a lot of brujeria, and then they try to pass it off as Catholic. But in Catholicism, it's not even okay to do stuff like that. Chat, I'm your boy 44 Vato. I always report on stuff like this. What do you guys think about this one? Let me know. Drop a comment.
There's a conspiracy that says birds, at least some of them, aren't biological. They're surveillance drones. And before you laugh, listen to this. A guy in Tennessee posted a video after he found a pigeon in a parking lot. He said when he picked it up, something fell off. The body was stiff, but not. And inside the cavity, he claimed he saw thin metallic wiring instead of. The video blew up, then it kind of disappeared. Now, the official explanation is simple. It was fake, a prank, a prop. But people who believe in this theory say birds started disappearing in huge numbers in the 1950s. Around the same time surveillance tech exploded. They point to birds sitting perfectly still on power lines, Cameras need elevation, drones need charging, power lines are everywhere. Next time you see a pigeon not blinking for way too long, ask yourself, why does it feel like it's watching you? Stay weird.
Four adult siblings, Edward, Dominic, Marie Nicole, and Aldo Casio, have filed a federal lawsuit in Los Angeles against the estate of the late Michael Jackson and related companies. They claim that Jackson essayed them as and rapped them for SEO purposes starting when they were just old. According to the complaint, Jackson used his fame, money, and influence to win their trust, showering them with gifts and attention before isolating them from adults and Jackson was introduced to this family back in the 80s by way of these children's father, Frank Casio Sr., who worked at a luxury hotel that Michael Jackson frequented. In an old article, it says that Michael viewed the Casios as his second family, and that Michael would frequently go to the Casios' residence for dinners and long talks around the kitchen counter. The Casio family said that Michael would celebrate Christmas with them, and that even after he had his own children, they were still a big part of Michael's life. They say that they were even there for the birth of his children. The siblings are alleging that the took place for more than a decade and occurred in multiple locations around the world. These included Neverland Ranch, their own family home in New Jersey when Jackson stayed there, and the homes of other celebrities such as Elizabeth Taylor's property in Switzerland and Elton John's home in the UK. They're claiming that Jackson's associates helped cover up the and the complaint also claims he gave them DRUs, exposed them to videos that were and use psychological manipulation to keep them silent. In addition to the lawsuit's claims of and rap, the lawsuit also alleges negligence, fraud, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The siblings are seeking around $200 million in damages and want to invalidate a previous settlement that paid each sibling roughly $690,000 per year for 5 years. They're saying that that settlement was coerced and inadequate. The legal action is therefore both a bid for financial compensation and an attempt to hold Jackson's estate accountable for the alleged wrongdoing, including enabling or covering up against these children. A hearing on this settlement matter is scheduled for March 5th, 2026. Michael Jackson's estate has strongly denied these allegations, calling the lawsuit, quote, a desperate money grab, with the estate's attorney Marty Singer noting that the family had previously defended Michael Jackson publicly in interviews and books for years. What are your guys' thoughts on all of this? Let me know in the comments.
I mean, it's hard to form opinions on what's true and what's not because Michael Jackson is not here. So it's kind of hard to judge these situations because, you know, some stories just don't make sense and don't add up, but he's also not here to give his account of things. I don't know. Every time I hear something about him, it's just words. Like I haven't seen really any evidence. It's just kind of this person said this person said that. So it's kind of hard to judge whether, you know, these are accurate statements or not.
This video shows the final moments of Samantha Josephson before she gets into the wrong Uber. Josephson was this 21-year-old senior college student, and she was out partying with her friends one night. So it was getting late, so she ordered an Uber, and she was waiting outside for it. That's when her friends said that they saw her get into a black Impala, but little did they know that would be the last time they'd see her.
Oh no.
So it turns out that car wasn't her Uber. The car belonged to this guy named Nathaniel Rowland.
Oh my, bro, I have chills, bro.
In the video, you can see that black Impala just circling the area, as if like waiting for...
Oh my God.
And instantly she knew she made the wrong decision because he wasn't going to her destination and she couldn't get out because he had on.
No, bro. I'm genuinely have chills all over my body.
And she was like one of the most horrifying ever. She was at least 120 times.
Oh my God.
So they had the car on camera and police were on it immediately because it was in a case. Luckily, Nathaniel wasn't the smartest criminal and he kind of left a huge trail. He tried to use her credit card at different places, tried to withdraw money. He was even used her car at Wendy's drive-thru they saw him at. So it wasn't too long where they actually caught him. So he pulled him over and he smelled like so he had probable cause to get him out of the car. He immediately ran. They ended up catching him. But what they would find in the car is actually crazy. They find her car keys.
What?
And her phone.
Is he stupid?
Yeah. And the back seat was covered and still had in the back.
Yo, this dude he like wanted to get caught.
They would end up finding an eviction letter to where he used to live with his ex-girlfriend. That would lead him to find the weapon. But even with all that evidence, they still needed a witness to put Nathaniel away to make sure he would be found guilty. So they got Nathaniel's ex-girlfriend to testify against him, even though she was like scared and she had a lot of and she wasn't really sure to testify or not, but she ended up doing it. So he ended up getting life in prison.
I know my son didn't do this.
He is guilty of, and if you had any testimony that you wanted to give for the jury to consider, the trial was the time to do that. I'm not listening to any claim of what he did not do.
And her parents ended up starting a foundation called What's My Name? I guess the silver lining of the case is that it brought awareness to rideshare safety.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite part of the video made you tremble in your boots. And we're going to be on to the next one. Thank you.